Hello everyone. So welcome back to this session on Android user interface components. In this session, we'll explore a very useful widget called image switcher. In Android, there are many situations where we need to change the image displayed in a image view. Sometimes with the smooth animations for a better user experience. However, if this is not managed properly, it can lead to the performance issues, flickering or abrupt transitions also. So, this is where the image switcher comes in. Image switcher is a specialized user interface widget which is designed to switch between the image seamlessly and providing the smooth transition effects. It enhances the visual appeal of the applications by animating the change between the images instead of simply replacing them. Technically, image switcher is a subclass of view switcher. So, and it works by holding the two image view objects and animating between them. So, whenever a new image set is set. So, in this session, we'll learn what is image switcher and how it works and how to implement the image switcher in two ways. So, one is manually in XML layout, then programmatically in Kotlin code, then how to add the animations to make image transitions smooth and visually engaging. By end of the session, you will be able to integrate the image switcher into your Android applications to provide the more dynamic and interactive user experience. So, first we should define an XML component to use the image switcher in our Android applications. Now that we understand what an image switcher is, let us explore its importance of XML attributes that help us control its appearance and behavior. So, the first one is Android ID. So, this attribute is used to assign the unique ID to the image switcher so that we can reference it in our Kotlin code. Then second is Android on click. So, this allows us to specify the method that will be triggered when the image switcher is clicked by the user. Then third one is Android background. So, with this attribute, so we can set the background color or a drawable image. So, behind the image switcher for styling. Then fourth one is Android padding. So, here the padding defines the inner spacing between the edges of the widget and its content. So, which ensuring that the image is not tightly pressed against the borders. Then fifth attribute is Android visibility. So, this attribute controls whether the image switcher is visible on the screen or invisible, but still occupying the space or completely gone. Then sixth one is Android in animation. So, this specifies the animations effect that plays when the new image appears on the image switcher. Then we have a seventh one, so that is Android out animation. Similarly, so this defines the animation effect used when the current image disappears. Then we have a eighth one, Android animate first view. Finally, so this attribute decide whether the first image displayed should also be animated or simply appear instantly. So, together these attributes make a image switcher a flexible and visually engaging the widget for smoothing images with the smooth animations in Android applications. So, let us go through the steps to implement it in Android applications. So, the first step is about creating the new project in Android Studio. Okay. So, for that first we start by creating the new project in the Android Studio. So, here are the steps to follow. So, the first step is, so you have to click on the file, then select the new option. Then after that you have to select the new project as usual. Then second step, so you have to enable the Kotlin support by checking the option and click the next button. Okay. So, here we are using the Kotlin code for programming. So, that we have to check the Kotlin as a language. Then third, we have to choose the minimum SDK version. So, based on your application requirements and click the next button again. After that, you have to select the empty activity. So, by selecting the next button, then click the finish button to create the new project. Okay. So, now your project page will be ready. So, once the project is ready, so we can move on the designing sections for designing our layout. Then second step, so what we are doing, so we are working on the activity main.xml file. Okay. So, in this step, So we define the user interface for our image switcher. Okay. So here we will use the constraint layout and place the image switcher widget inside it. So along with the buttons to switch the images between. Okay. So the image switcher will handle the smooth transitions between the images, while the buttons will allow us to navigate or switch through the different images programmatically. Okay. So in the next steps, we will write the Kotlin code to control the image switcher and add the animations for the smooth user experience. Okay. So next we will explore about the activity main.xml. Okay. So now let's go through the XML layout used for our image switcher as an example. Okay. So the first we have to set up the constraint layout. So here we start with the constraint layout, which helps the positions user interface elements relative to each other or the parent layout. At the same time, so the layout has a white background and it takes up the entire width and height of the screen. Then second is, so we have to move into the image switcher widget. Okay. So it is given a fixed height of 250 dB and a margin of 8 dB around it. So the constraint ensure that it is placed at the top of the layout and stretches across the full width of the screen. So this is where our images will be displayed with the smooth transition. So next we have a button. Okay. So here so we have image switches and at the same time, so the previous buttons also. Okay. So this button will allow the users to switch to the previous image. Okay. Then so it is aligned to the center left of the screen with the proper constraints. Next we have a next button. Okay. So similarly, so we have a next button on the right side of the screen and it is aligned next to the previous button. So this will allow the users to switch to the next image in the sequence. So with this layout, so we have defined the simple user interface, an image switcher at the top and the two buttons to navigate through the images, that is the previous button and next button. Okay. So next we will move into the step 3. So it is about accessing the image switcher in the main activity.kotlin. Okay. So now, so in this particular step, so we access the image switcher widget in our Kotlin file. So that is main activity.kt is a extension. Okay. So next we have various methods which has been defined in the main activity.kt. So image switcher provides several methods to display the images dynamically. Okay. So and first method is set image drawable. So this method sets a new drawable object on the next image view inside the switcher. Then we have a set image resource. So this will set a new image using its resource ID from the drawable folder. Then we have a set image URI. So this will set a new image using the URI reference, useful when the images come from the storage or the internet. So next we will declare an array that stores the references to our images from the drawable folder. Okay. So next we will see about so accessing and setting up the image switcher. So here, so we can access the image switcher from the XML layout and set its a factory method to create the image view objects dynamically. Okay. So finally, so we will use one of the methods. For example, set image resource to display the image at a given index. Okay. So with this setup, our image switcher is now ready to show the images dynamically with a smooth transition. Okay. So next we will discuss about activity.xml. So it is about to see how an image switcher works in the Android application using the Kotlin, and this code demonstrates how to switch between the images with the smooth animations when the user click on the next button or previous button. Okay. Then so next we will see about what are the packages we have used in this particular file. Okay. So the first one is package org.jigs4jigs.demo. So this particular package defines applications package namespace. So here we are importing the Android libraries like app, compat, activity. And animation utilities, image switcher and image view to handle the user interface components and animations. So, next we have to define the class. So, here the main activity extends the app compact activity, making it the main entry point for our applications. Then, so next we have to declare the array. So, actually, so this array stores a drawable resources ID. So, for example, so grape. So, here we have used the three different types of the fruits, grape, guava and orange. So, this resources IDs will be saved here. Then index keeps a track of currently displayed image. Then fourth we have a on create method. So, this method will be called when the activity is created. Then next we have a set content view. So, here we are passing the r.layout activity main as a parameter. So, this will inflate the layout. Then fifth we have a image switcher setup. So, here we are using the image switcher dot set factory. Okay. So, this method will create the image view objects dynamically to display the images. So, next we have a image switcher set image resource. So, here we have passed the array as a parameter. So, this will set the first image initially. So, next we will see about the animations part. So, for that we have used the image in and image out. So, load, slide in and slide out animations for the smooth transition. Then we have a button functionality. So, in this case we have used the two different buttons, previous button and next button. And previous button, so moves to the previous image, wraps to last at first. Then next button is moves to the next image, wraps to first if at last. Okay. So, this approach demonstrates the dynamic image switching with the animations in the Android. You can expand this by adding the gesture controls or loading the images from the online source also. And at the same time, the screenshot shows the output of the Android applications implementing the image switcher widget. Now, let us look at the output of our image switcher implementations when you execute this code. Okay. So, here at the center of the screen, so we see the image of the fruit displayed inside the image switcher widget, and at the same time below the image we have two buttons, previous button on the left and next button on the right side. Okay. So, when the user tap the next button, the image switcher smoothly transition to the next image in our array. Okay. Similarly, tapping the previous button display the previous image on the screen. Okay. So, here the animations like fade in or slide, it can be applied to make this transition visually appealing. Okay. So, actually, so this behavior is controlled in the main activity.kt file. So, where the image switcher is accessed and updated using the method such as set image resource, and so here the each button modifies the index of the image array and updates the image switcher accordingly, and this creates an interactive and smooth image browsing experience with the applications.